Croeso. Welcome. So we're going to have a second go of doing a general Pilates class. Please note that if you do have any back issues, then any kind of forward flexion is not recommended for you. Simply repeat some of the more easy standing activities. If you find that you're not quite sure about an exercise, I would say just listen, skip, modify it, or do one of the previous exercises. I will offer alternatives. There could be easier or more challenging alternatives, and really it's up to you. Before I was trying to do all of the exercises, but this time I think I might give a little bit more coaching points. So if I'm not particularly doing the exercise, please listen to my teaching points. I'm going to start with a warm-up. It's going to be the same as before. So join in, enjoy. Okay, so remember we need to do the three things that are important for posture and do the checks. So starting with your feet. Look down, check your feet are hip distance apart, and remember the key pointers for that are line up the middle part of your kneecap towards your second toe. From there you want a little bit of tension through the thighs and then that adjustment through the pelvis. So remember the pelvis is bowl shaped. You want to ensure your abdominal contents sit within the pelvis, and then that you lift and lengthen that gap between the ribs and the hips. Roll the shoulders up, back and down, and check your palms are towards your side. Nice long neck, feel like you have heavy weights in your arms. Then lift the chin and draw it in, making sure your head remains over your body. Starting off with the shoulders. Remember what we said before, those 4 ranges of movement. So forward, up, back and down. You can do one at a time, you can do both together. Try and make sure you go through all 4 phases. Then the elbows. Start small with the lift, okay? And then as you keep going, try and lift the elbow just that little bit higher. Feel like you're sweeping over your head, and then that full arm. So really lengthen and extend so that you're lifting up through the body. Sweeping the arm past your ear. Feel like you're having that stretch through the front of the chest, as well as lengthening and lifting up through your back. Both arms up and elbows in. Remember, you want to do a few of these, but if your shoulders are tight and it feels uncomfortable, go to the small ones, do 1, 2, and then come through to the bigger ones again. Hands onto your thighs, middle finger towards the outside part of your knee, back up to the centre. So remember, we're looking to lengthen that gap between the rib and the hip. Try not to dip your hips. You can lift the elbow for a little bit more extension, or extend that arm up and over your head. Try and enjoy, it's a really nice stretch. Move in and out of it nice and slowly, taking your time each time you're doing this. Bit of rotational work, arms in front, tight into the centre, hand to your shoulder, turn and look behind you and come back in. So that as you're doing this, you're starting to stretch through the front of the chest, as well as mobilise through that the spinal part in the middle, just below the thoracic, and then release. Okay, a little bit of work through the feet. So remember, start off with the foot pedals. So imagine that your head is not going to move and you want to simply peel 1 foot off the floor at a time. Feel like you're in between 2 panes of glass. Feel how when you're doing this, you're moving all the joints, all the way from the toes through the arch of the foot to the ankle. Then lift and lower so that you're taking the weight through 1 foot then the other. So you lift up and down, and then if you feel okay, both feet up, stay up, and if you feel really good today, bend your knees and tuck in on here. Lift up and down. Let's try that again. So lifting up, try and keep your balance, take your arms behind you, place your hands onto your lower back, bend your knees. Okay, standing up nice and tall, keeping your feet hip distance apart. Try and stabilise into the centre, drawing in tight, and you're going to lift one leg, place it down, and then lift the other leg. So this knee raise, we're looking at how does the core work to stabilise. You want to feel that as you're lifting one foot off the floor, that you can feel your stomach muscles starting to work. You can use your arms, you can hold on to something. But you want to do a couple of these so your body gets used to that flow of movement, exchanging the weight from one leg across to the other. Try not to lift your knee much higher than your hip, and try and maintain that upright posture as you do that. Okay, so we're going to do some squats. Remember, if you've got lower back pain, maybe keep with the knee raises, pressing the hips away. So hips press back, lengthen out, sit your hips down, lengthen out through the spine. As you lift, keep your arms in line with your ears, tuck your tailbone underneath, and open out the chest. And again, sitting back, taking a deep breath in, lifting up, rolling your shoulders back and down. And again, press away, lift up, and release. Stepping your right leg forward, keeping the weight balanced, lift the arms up, breathe out, bring the arms down, step in, step the other foot back. Feel the balance between your feet, try not to wobble too much, and then in and down. Step in, step back. So if you feel like you could do with a little bit more work, lifting up, keeping the weight balanced, and as you come down, you can bend this knee a little bit, so you're keeping it tucked underneath, standing up, stepping in. Other side, so the toe up or foot down. So you can do the foot down in the circles, you can do the toe up, and give me a little bit of a lunge, okay, maintaining that upright posture. Okay, so we're going to go and start straight away down onto the floor today. Excuse me, I'm going to stones onto the mat. Keeping your knees in a hip distance apart position, stepping forward, hands onto your mat. So turn it around this way. So remember, fingers are spread wide, thumbs towards each other. Inside of elbows, face towards each other. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Taking a deep breath in. As you breathe out, try and brace or lift and hold your stomach muscles in tight. Keeping the spine nice and long, 4-point kneeling. Right foot back, left arm forwards. Take a deep breath in. If you feel okay, stabilise through the core. Lift your opposite arm and leg up. Thumb up towards the ceiling, shoulder pulled away from your ear, leg in line or slightly higher than your hip. Try not to rotate. Placing it in and down. Taking a nice deep breath in. Breathe out. Stabilise the core. Right foot back, left hand forward. Sorry, you did that the other side. Other leg. So when you're lifting, as you're lifting here, try not to rotate or move. Try and keep everything in alignment. Thinking about that arm in line with the shoulder, thumb up towards the ceiling, so that you can maintain that good postural control. And then release, placing your foot down, sinking back. So we're going to start with a modified child's pose, forehead to the mat. Feel the stretch through that lower back area. If it feels uncomfortable, wriggle side to side. And then up you come again. Okay, so this is the Pilates flow element. Pulling your shoulders down, taking a deep breath in, hold and lift. And we're going to do 10 continuous movements. So you think about where your hand and your foot was touching on that 4-point kneeling. You're going to lift up, bringing it in, and then change over to the other side. So you reach, and then lift, bringing it down, and in. Each time you're doing this movement, feel how you're stabilising through the core, but also you're building up quite a bit of heat into the muscle. So this is all part of the warming up. If you find that you're struggling, you can maybe do just your leg movement, okay? Or if you prefer, you can do just the arm movement. If you find your wrists ache, come down onto your elbows. And again, you can do just the leg, or you can do the leg and the arm. You can't lift the arm as high. If you want to, you can think about that transitioning point, so between the right and the left side as you move the weight across, about how your core is working hard. Now, we're looking here to build up a little bit of warmth, so you might find this a bit difficult. Don't panic. You want to keep the flow of movement. You want to make sure you're not grabbing the mat with your toes, that you keep moving continuously to one side and the other. From there, knees further apart this time, sink lower, drop your head down. If you want to, take your arms out in front and think maybe about dropping your chest lower down towards the floor. Think about that real slow breath out. Just letting the body release and relax into position. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit more work through the hips, working on the piriformis. So this time, when you're coming into the 4-point kneel-in, I want you to think about lifting the opposite arm and leg up, then rotating both the knee and the foot to the side, and turning your palm towards the ceiling. So it comes away as you lift up, turn your foot and your knee out to turn your palm up. Bring it in and down, practice onto the other side. So remember, you come to the 4-point kneel-in, lift, and then that rotation through the knee, foot and hand. Let's try that again. So if you notice from the front, when you're taking your leg out, as well as turning your foot to the side, you can bring it slightly out and you can bring this arm slightly away. Okay? Keep going, try it onto the other side. What you want to make sure that you're not doing is rotating the pelvis. You feel this is stabilising and that your hips are working hard. 2 more goes. If you wish to move a bit faster, please do so. Otherwise, and again, try not to grab the foot, your foot to the floor. Turn, move a little bit off centre. Come back in and down. And this is your last time. Good work. Okay. A little bit more stretch from the hips this time. Take your knees as wide as the mat. Sink further back. Extend your arms away. Let your chest drop down to feel like you're releasing through the stretch. Breathing nice and easy. And then up you come. Okay, so we're going to move now into the dead bug position. So making sure that you're lying down and you have everything well supported. You can see I'm a bit in darkness here, so I'm hoping it's coming out okay onto the video. Arms up towards the ceiling, dropping your shoulders down. I'm just going to scoot around and see if I'm a little bit more lit. This way. I'm not sure. Here we go. Keeping your knees hip distance apart, taking that deep breath in. So remember, you want to brace the core, so you want to feel that you're contracting the stomach muscles, but not really pushing you back into the mat. Keeping your shoulder blades down, keeping your chin tucked in. Feet to hip distance apart, take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, lift up onto the balls of your feet. Now as you do that, feel the core contracting. When you feel ready, you lift one foot, and if you feel good, lift the other foot. So in the dead bug, you want that knee above your hip. You want your foot in line or slightly higher than your knee, but not lower than your knee because it will pull onto your back here. In this position, all you want to think about doing is maintaining that hold. So you want to find what's called the tipping point. So if your legs come too far forward so your back lifts off the floor, pull your legs in a little bit. If you can't feel it because your knees are over your body, let your legs come further away. Okay, Gently place the feet down onto the floor, keeping your feet hip distance apart. Just gently start with that rocking movement side to side. Now we did this in the other session, so if you're enjoying this, kind of move with it. But we're looking to mobilise through the hips and release the tension around your lower back. Okay, so single leg stretch. Arms are up, shoulders are down, chin tucked in. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, lift your right foot. So if you're a beginner, stay with your right foot and your left arm. If you want to work harder, you lift the other foot. Okay, so you're only going to do the one side. So tip and tap. And when you're doing this, if you want to, bring your toe down first to make it a little bit easier. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, extend that leg and tap with the heel. If you want to make the coordination, then move the other arm as well. If you're finding it too difficult, keep that one foot down onto the floor to help you to stabilise. You want to do around 10 of these, and you want to think about that lengthening and then that contraction to stabilise as you breathe out and you lift up. As you get more proficient at this, you'll find that you're able to coordinate your breathing with the movement. But if you're a beginner and you're finding this difficult, just take your time. This time, keep your knees together for the hip roll. So when you're moving side to begin with, drop the knees over to the side and lengthen out your arm onto the other way. Now, as I said before, you can just stay there. You can place your hand onto your body and breathe out and lift up and over and across to the other side. Taking your time and coming back to the centre. Okay, so we're going to try onto the other side. So taking a deep breath in, up onto the balls of your feet, and you're lifting that opposite arm and leg. So remember, you extend away and lift. And remember the options. If you want to work a little bit easier, tap with your toe. If you want to make it a bit more challenging, extend with the leg. If you want to increase the coordination, opposite leg and arm. And if you want to make it more challenging on the core, then keep both feet up. Now when the both feet are up, one leg does not move. You need to think about that knee staying in position above the hip the whole time. And try and then control the breathing so that as you lift the foot back up, it's not so easy to practice the breathing all the time, but if you're going to start, try and practice that out breath as you lift up. Carry on, do another couple. If you find that it's too difficult, just take a time out or make it easier. Okay, let's go back to the hip rolls, and this time as you roll the hips over the top, slide your top leg and then bring that knee down towards the floor. Okay, and come back up to the centre and then up and across to the other side. So you're moving slowly, and remember the weight of your arm is going to help move that stretch and hold it into position. And all you need to do is just relax and release. Okay, let's come back to the centre and let's do some single leg pull. Again, I really like this exercise as part of your warm-up. It's a really good way of building heat, mobilising the hips and the knees. So remember, you want to hold high and low onto the shin and then change over to the other side. Now when you're doing this exercise, we're going to sit up. You can either bring the knee straight to the body, or you can rotate it slightly out so that the knee is somewhat towards the shoulder. So excuse me, sometimes that is a little bit more comfortable for some people. So really nice stretch on the inner thigh and the pelvic floor area. If you find that your knee joint is hurting, then hold underneath the knee instead of on top of the shin. Okay, so in the beginning we did some work on the piriformis, turning the knee and foot out. So we're going to do a move in, single leg stretch, and you're going to have that option. So stabilise, deep breath in, deep breath out, lifting up. Okay, so here we go. One at a time, extend away, breathe out and lift up, and then change over to the other side. Now what you can do, instead of it being linear, is to think about taking it slightly out onto the angle. So I'm going to turn around to make sure I'm going here. So when you're doing this, instead of it being straight, you can think about coming slightly out to the side, okay, and you can even turn your foot out to the side. You get a little bit more work through the hip, okay, and you get a little bit more through the internal oblique. If you find your hip makes a slight cracking noise, then don't panic, it's okay, it's probably just hot air. And you just want to keep that moving, and it's up to you whether you want to do it straight or whether you want to come onto the angle. You want to think about doing around 10 of these. Now if you're a beginner, and 10 is too many, excuse me, do do 6, but do a sufficient amount that you feel it working in your core. When you finish, we're moving into the frog stretch. The soles of the feet together, let the hips open. If your hips are tight, rock and roll, nice slow breaths. Back to single leg pull. Okay, so where the knee is, keep your head up off the floor unless it really is uncomfortable, or straight leg, so that you can bring your other leg in and tap down to the floor. If you're super flexible, you try and get your forehead towards your kneecap. If you're like me and you're not so super flexible, just keep moving. And again, around 10 of these, give you a nice good stretch for your hamstrings, good bit of core stability. And then release. Okay, so you're going to roll over onto your side. I'm just going to scoot around this way because I know it's a better light this way. Okay. So coming onto your side, we're going to do the hip lift. So for this, elbow underneath your shoulder, hand down onto the floor, don't sink. So you want to pull away, keep your neck nice and long. If your neck is stiff, it really helps on this to look towards the floor. Lift your hip away. Hand here, take a deep breath in, lift your hips, push your hips forward. Take your hips back, drop your hips down. Let's try again. So lift from here, hip high, hip forward, hip back, hip down. I'm going to change direction so you can maybe see a little bit better. Okay, lift, push your hips forward, bring it back and down. Keep that going. 2 more goes. Lift, hip up, hip down. 1 more time. Here we go. Hip up, hip forward, hip back, hip down. From here, bring this leg in the front, sit up, hold on, mermaid stretch. Arm over, hand down. Over you come to the other side. If you want to touch down to the floor, please do so. Lift up. And we're just going to pause a little bit here. So if you feel okay, you can hold on to your arm and pull the arm a little bit further over. If you feel like you're going to fall over, keep holding on. Down. Lift up. Over you come. Hold on. And then release. Okay, so from here, slide in, lying down flat, arm down onto the floor. Okay, from this position, I would like you to please move your legs slightly forward. We're going to do the torpedo. So remember, you lift 1, lift 2, squeeze your feet together. Bring it back in and down. Lift 1, lift 2 and squeeze. Bring it back in and down. If you want to work a little bit harder, rest up onto the point of your elbow. So lift 1, hold and squeeze, back in and down. If you want to make it a little bit harder, hand behind. Lift 1, hold and squeeze, bring it in and down. So if you find that you're wobbling, keep the hand here. And what you should feel is this area of your body working. So if you grasp in the squidgy bit, okay, not onto your hip bone, get your fingers right into the muscle, both front and back. Lift that one and you should start to feel the core to stabilise. But when you bring those both legs together, you should feel the core working hard on both sides and down. 2 more goes. Lift 1, lift 2, squeeze and hold. Last time now, here we go. Lift 1, so of course the other bit is when you squeeze and hold, touch the floor, touch your head, bring your legs down. Bring this knee on the floor in front, turn towards the ceiling. Come back up towards the centre, turn around, sit up facing towards me. Feet apart, leaning back, foot across, sit up tall. So when you're in this position, you want to flex the foot or think about bringing the big toe towards your knee and then push your knee towards me. Now you should be feeling the stretch roughly around this area. Just try and chill. So breathing nice and easy. And then release. Okay, so we're going to repeat the exercises onto the other side. So lying on the side for the hips. So remember, elbow underneath your shoulder, knee stacked, don't drop. Pull away, lift away from the floor. You give us hands on the floor looking down. If you want to make it harder, hand here or hand here. Okay, so you can lift your hips up, push your hips forward, press the hips back, drop the hips down. If you want to, lift your arm, press the hips forward, push the hips back, drop the hips down. If it's too much work on your shoulder, skip it out, do another exercise. Lift hips forward. So again, if you want to know where everything's working on this, get your hand onto the squidgy part lower down here, lift it up, you can feel that muscle starting to contract, press forward, you can feel that contraction through front and back, and 2 more goes. If you want to take it easy, use your hand, turn your head towards the floor. It's not so easy to do the hip forward, but it's a nice little modification. Last time, here we go. Lifting up, hip forward, hip back and down. Okay, sitting up into your mermaid. Hold on, lean over. Taking it down and then lean across to the other side. So if you feel like going the whole way, please do so. This time, if you want to, grab hold and just hold into position. So this arm pulls down and you keep that traction on. Now for those of you who come to my class, you know there is a more complex way of doing the mermaid. But guess what? I can't do it. Essentially, you bring your leg around, bring your foot up, wrap your elbow around and here. Okay, I'm giving up. I keep trying, maybe next year. Release and then come down. Okay, so let's come up to sitting. Sitting up facing towards me. So this foot is coming across, so you want to bring your foot across. Sit up nice and tall. Excuse me. Sit up nice and tall. Pull your big toe, but also push your knee forwards to me. So if you're sitting there with your foot relaxed, you might get some stretch, but you get much better stretch if you're actively involved in doing this exercise. Okay, and then release. So sitting up nice and tall. If you find it uncomfortable sitting like this, you can get a pillow underneath. Lift your hips out of the way, and this is going to be the sole. So right hand behind, sit up, turn over your shoulder, breathe out, little finger towards little toe. This activates your back, just change it. If just sitting there is tough, do that. And if you are flexible and you want to go a little bit lower, please do so. Back to the centre, sit up tall. Turn, look over your shoulder, turn away, head in line with your arm. And remember, if you can on this one, slow out breath. Lovely, one more time. Remember on the last one, you're going to stay down and it really helps to hold on. So it doesn't matter where you hold, But without holding, what happens is your body lifts up. Come back to the centre, legs together. I hope I haven't got dirty feet. I think I have. Look at that, been in the garden. Okay, so crossing your legs over, sitting up really tall, lean forwards, feel that stretch on the back of your hamstring. If you want to make it harder, you can balance your top leg on top of the other one. If you don't want to make it so hard, then keep that ankle crossed. Sit up tall, change over to the other side. Should have checked my feet, shouldn't I? I've been digging in the garden. Remember to make it harder, place your foot on top. Okay, so the moving saw now, it's not so easy to do. So remember, sit up tall. And for this one, arms out and press back. So thumbs are up, pull your shoulders back. So you're going to turn towards your right foot. You try and maintain those arms out, so you don't want this arm to come across. You come back to the centre and you turn the other way. Now this is not, this is not one of my favourites, but what I'm finding is that holding position sometimes, trying to maintain good posture is a good way of building up strength. It really aggravates your lower back, because this is not ideal for people who have lower back pain. Skip this exercise out, have a lie down, have a stretch. One more time. Nice work. Back to the centre, bring your legs in. Wrap your hands around the front and tuck your head down. So I'll just turn sideways on. Okay, so you want to tuck it in as much as you can. If you're like me, you've got boobs and a belly, it's not so easy. I'm going to start with the rolling. So remember with the rolling, holding on to your shin or hold on to the back of your thighs. And when you roll back, those knees over your shoulders and then roll back up to sit in. So you want to feel like you are using this, trying to maintain that distance between the knees and the shoulders, and I want you to do about 3 or 4. So for some people, this makes you feel a little bit sick, but don't panic. One more time. And then release. Sit up, cross your legs. Use your arms and see if this feels any easier after doing the rolling. Remember, if you want to make it harder, you can stack your feet. And this way you can't see my feet are dirty. Don't forget how to cross your legs. Cross them over the other way. Back to the centre. Okay. Rolling part 2. So when we're rolling here, instead of holding on, I want you to take your arms out in front. You roll back, balance, roll up, balance. If you want to, you can do this without touching your feet to the floor, not like that. Okay, one more go. And up. Okay, legs out in front, cross, sit up, lean slightly forward. Feel that stretch on the back of your thigh. And cross over to the other side. So this is a modified version of the boomerang. If you want to do the full boomerang, don't let me stop you. Okay, so we're going to do the jackknife, which is one of my favourite rolling ones. If you find you don't like that, then that's fine. Just do any of the modifications, just do the rolling, or just do the stretching. If you want to shout, woo, it does help. Okay, so when we're doing the jackknife, from this position, you press your legs up and then come back up to sit in. So remember your hands are onto the floor, legs up and here. And again. Try when you're doing this not to take your leg over your head. Okay, so you want to go up to the ceiling. Try one more go. Then release. Last time. And you should find that maybe this feels a little bit easier. So you jump to the other side. In. And then release. Okay, roll down. Okay, drop your knees to me. This time, hand on your knee, and if you can, straighten your leg out. You can hold anywhere up towards your ankle. Okay. And then you come across to the other side. Okay, so we're going to do the famous 100. So you're going to do it, I'm not going to do it. I mean, okay, so hands behind your head. And what you want to think about doing is lifting your upper body up. So think about that gap between the base of the rib and the hip. Feel like you're sliding down here. Now you don't want to be pulling on your neck, so your hands are here to keep your head and neck relaxed. Take a deep breath in, lift your right foot, and then lift your left foot. So you're in that dead bug position. And this is the easiest modification. Now, keep one hand behind your head, reach your other hand forward, and you tap. So you want to tap down for 5, tap up for 5, and as you get better, breathe out, and then breathe in. 2 more goes. It's good. 1 more go if you can. And then release. Bring your knees towards your body, and then go into the frog stretch. So arms above your head, in this position. You can hold onto your elbows to kind of mirror image the feet, and just let the knees fall out. Now the 100 of course can be a little bit more taxing if you want to. What you're looking to do is to move the feet into that slightly rotated position. So taking a deep breath in, lifting your head and shoulders up and off the floor, lifting your feet up and pushing your legs slightly away, then turning your feet out. So much like we did in the beginning about turning your feet away, pull your toes out and try and slightly rotate the knee and the foot away from your body. So you get that switching on into the hip area. That will help to stabilise your pelvis. You get your inner thighs to activate a little bit more, and that helps you to engage in the lower core. Okay, so hold that position and then do the breathing. So when you're doing the exercise, if you want to, excuse me, you can still have your hand towards the floor. If you're feeling good, you can take both arms away. Okay, and you can have your feet slightly higher or to this range. But this middle range here is really stressful on your back. So you're either up high, if you think of a clock face, 12 till 2, or we're going to go to the really low position and then have a rest. Okay, dropping your knees to the side and extending that leg away if you want to. And then changing over to the other side. So just letting the back muscles relax. Now of course the full 100 involves double legs straight out in front. And this is not a suitable exercise for many people. If you do want to try it or you like it, some key tips from me. Number 1, activate those glutes. So as you rotate the knee and the foot out to the side, feel like you're squeezing the glute muscles, the muscles of your bum, keeping your thighs really tense. And if you feel your back is giving away at any point, then give it a rest. So take a nice deep breath in, head and shoulders up. This is your position, stay there. This is your position, stay there. This is your position, stay there. If you want to make the harder one, bring your knees in, press your feet along the floor and keep your legs and your upper body up. So you want to breathe and keep those legs and your butt muscles working. I'm not going to do this all. I've had a significant amount of abdominal operation and it really is not a good one for me, but I know many of my class members enjoy it. 2 more goes and then release. Okay, so this time back into the frog stretch. Okay, so I'm going to modify the frog stretch again. Okay, so if you're happy with your soles of your feet together, fine. Otherwise, legs up and hold your feet or hold your legs. If you're flexible, you can hold further up, that's fine. And basically just stay there. So just breathe in nice and slowly. And then of course, one of my favourite stretches, a happy baby stretch. So bend your knees in, hold underneath your feet. Looking at me doing your feet again. Bring your knees down. Okay, so your knees are close to your chest and you use your arms to anchor. That's a really nice stretch onto the lower back. If your back's tight, don't forget, nice little rock and roll side to side. Lift your legs, drop your knees down to the side and release down. Up you come across to the other side and then release. Okay, Let's roll over onto your stomach. So, arms are down, head down, opposite arm and leg up and down. So I want 10 little movements like this. Thinking about working that sling system from your hip to your bum, across to your shoulder. 2 more goes. 1 more go. Okay, hands underneath your shoulders. This time, into the child's pose, I want you to have a really wide knee position. Okay, so as wide as you can. I want you to think about chest to the floor. So wide knees, chest down. So if you can get your chest onto the floor, fantastic, go for it. And all you need to do in this is just let the hips relax. Okay, coming back in. So again, following the theme from the beginning, lift, turn your hand out, turn your foot out to the side. I've got much room here, hang on. Lift, opposite arm and leg away, back to the centre and down. Lift, turn your foot, turn your hand, back to the centre and down. Lift, back to the centre and down. Keep going. So you can hear me a bit better. So what you do is turn your palm up to the ceiling. Imagine you go and shake somebody's hand. Turn the knee and the ankle out to the side. So again, following that same theme as we did in the beginning, working through the glutes, also working that dynamic sling across from one side to the other. 1 more go, and then up you come. So into the wide-legged child's pose. Down you come, arms extended, and this is extra torture for those of you who want extra hip stretch. Come up onto your elbows, kick your feet out, so your feet turn out like this, and slide your hips back. You need to make sure you've got a good mat, and really all you need to do is breathe and slowly feel the opening of the hips, so feet are kicked out, then come back in, feet together, and sit back down into that release. Last bit of work is for the glutes. Coming back into your lying down position. Hands on your head, feet together. What you want to do is to lift your feet, okay, and then if you can, lift your knees. Keeping your head down, and then release. Feet off the floor, shins off the floor, knees off the floor. So you want to feel the hamstrings and the glutes working hard. You want to hold that for about 10 seconds before you release down. 1 more go. Lift, lift, lift. Keep working. And then release down. I lied about 1 more go. If you want to make it harder, bend your knees, flex your feet. Try and keep your kneecaps off the floor. Straighten your legs and lower down. 1 more go. Lift. Make it harder, bend your knees. Make it harder, take your knees apart. Try and lift your kneecaps off the floor. And down. Sit back. Any kind of child's pose that you enjoyed. Wide leg, frog, variation. Anything that feels good to you. Up you come, cat and camel, tuck underneath, open up your head and your face, that's good, 2 more goes. Lovely, 1 more go. I've just realised we missed out doing the torpedo on that side. Now a professional person would do the whole video again, but seriously I don't have time. So let's do it on this side now. Okay, so here we go. So remember, hips forward, hand on the floor in front. Lift your top leg, which is okay, and then bring your bottom leg to touch. So you want to feel like your ankles have magnets that are attracted to each other, and then lower down. So you can lift up 1, lift 2 and hold, yeah, and then bring it in and down. And again, lift up 1. So remember what I've said before, if you want to make this a little bit more challenging, come up onto the pointy part of your elbow, okay? And that means you have to stabilise your upper body a little bit more. If you want to make it more challenging as well, bring your hand to the other side of your head. So you want to lift up 1, lift up 2, think about that connection and hold. You can touch your hand to the floor if you want to, back to the centre and down. 2 more left. So remember, hand on the floor to stabilise. Lift and hold. And remember what we said before, feel this area here. See how strong it's feeling. And then release. Bring your knee on the floor in front, and stretch out. Okay, rolling over onto your back. Single leg stretch is your choice. You can do it here, you can do it here, whichever one feels good for you. Think about that continuous flow of movement between one and the other. Feel like you're pulling your leg towards your body with your arms, okay, and keeping your legs fairly straight or keeping them in that knee bend position. Last time, and into your frog stretch. Cross your ankles, bring your feet closer in, take your arms above your head. And cross your ankles, cross them over the other way. Lovely. Lying down, legs are straight. If you feel it more comfortable, bend your knees, hands either onto your stomach or down by your side. And seriously, just take a few deep breaths in. It's a very unusual state of affairs that we're in now. Taking care of your body is a sensible thing to do. If you feel like you want to make the exercises we've done a little bit harder, just do a few more of them. Or hold the positions for longer. When you feel ready, bend your knees, roll over to your side, and up you come to standing. Okay, so keeping your feet wide. Taking the arms up, taking a breath in. Lean slightly over to the right. So you don't want to drop your hips, you want to feel like you're lifting up and out. Come over to the other way. Back to the centre. Release your shoulders. Standing with your feet hip distance apart. Slight tension through your thighs. So you should feel a little bit taller. You should feel a little bit lighter. Hold your stomach in. Shoulders back and down. Deep breath in. Breathing out. Again, one more time. Breathing out. There we go. Bow. Thank you all very much. Hopefully see you all again soon, and keep looking after yourselves.